one is I want to show you, get Sam onto this particular call. So Sam, I'm going to come find you. Let's have a look. And Sam's going to talk about hero images. Where are you? There's Sam. So I'm going to make you the presenter, Sam. There you go. So you're now the presenter, mate. So just while Sam's organizing that, just so that I can give you a little bit of info about Sam. Sam is, well, he was one of our AOE coaches, but he's not doing AOE coaching anymore. Instead, what Sam now focuses on is building brands and business partnerships on Amazon. He's just actually taken one of the brands he's built and now taken that right around the world with licensees. So he's doing some pretty high level stuff. And he just actually did a webinar yesterday all about the licensing process and how he puts these licensing packages together to take brands. So he starts in one country and then grow them and scale them into many, many other countries as well. So Sam, how are you?
Mate, I am fantastic. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Now, I'm going to share in the chat for everybody. If anybody wants to go and have a look, send to all. That link I've just put there for YouTube is a video to go and have a look at what Sam does and how Sam goes about scaling these brands out. But right now for today, what Sam's going to talk about is hero images. So over to you, mate.
Awesome, mate. Thanks for that. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, you're right. I mean, the last year has been absolutely crazy. I think there's been so much happening, not just with what's happening around in the world, but also with a lot of the things that I'm doing, a lot of the things that I'm doing with my partners. And really when it comes to, I guess, business partnership, a lot of you guys probably know, but probably about a year ago, I started getting involved with different partnerships and people who were in AOE that wanted to grow an Amazon business and they wanted to grow with me. And we've been working on that in the last year. And I don't take on any more business partnerships, but essentially what I'm doing now with a lot of those brands is really, taking those particular brands that we're actually building, and some of them are just, we're just kind of still working out a lot of different things, and some of them are at that stage where we're already launched, we're up and running, we're doing really well, and now we want to essentially just take them around the world and give people an opportunity to, plug in to one of our brands and be able to sell it anywhere in the world or anywhere where they choose. So that's pretty exciting, mate. Appreciate that. Really good. But today I want to actually just go over something that's very, very important. It's something that I noticed when I was coaching is your hero image, right? So the hero image is the very first image that any customer sees from Amazon. So when they go in and they type in your keyword, one of the first things they see is your actual hero image. And the importance of that is absolutely huge. And sometimes you will get your images done somewhere, and then you will just keep that hero image and you'll never change it, or you never test anything, or you never try anything different. And to me, that's a really big mistake. I've noticed massive changes when I do little tweaks in hero images, changes up to 20%, 30%. I've seen my conversion rate go from 10 or 12% on a particular product, which isn't good, go all the way up to 35% just because of the hero image. So the importance of it is huge, and I just did put together about 15 slides, so hopefully it won't be too long, but I'll kind of swing through it. Okay, so talking about ducks before, so getting your ducks lined up in a row is a very important step of building any business. And one thing that I like to do is I like to be the blue duck, right? So if every single Amazon seller is the yellow duck, you want to be the blue duck when it comes to your hero image, and you want to be the blue duck when it comes to your particular product. There has to be something that makes you different to everyone else, right? So, and that's very, very important, whether it be your branding, and it could be something as simple as branding. I mean, it could be something as great as your product, or it could be something where you're actually adding different things, bonuses and things like that. So there has to be something that differentiates you from everyone else. And when I go onto Amazon, if I'm looking for a particular product, I have to clearly identify you as being different, and that really helps with improving conversion. So, all right, so this was actually some information here that we got from Web Retailer, but just in regards to the average shopper only reads about 20% of the words on the web page, right? Really, it's quite amazing. 63% of consumers say product images are more important to them than descriptions, and 53% of consumers say product images are more important to them than ratings or reviews, right? So just the level of importance of your images, and especially your very first image, because that's where people are going to click to go to your actual listing itself. So that becomes extremely important than everything else on your actual web page. And you really need to give it as much attention as you can. It's extremely important. So this is also another thing. There was a poll that showed what is, I guess, the popularity when it comes to images. A lifestyle image of the product, people rated it as 28%. Infographic about product features in use was 48% or use. Image of the product in use was 42%, and informational video is 32%. So this is essentially the poll that was created, and this was a level of importance of what a consumer wanted to see when they were actually buying a product. Now, if we think about a hero image, which is the hero image that sits on the front page there, you know, a lot of these are not compliant, right? So you couldn't have a lifestyle image of the product on your actual hero image. You can try. I mean, I've pushed the limits sometimes, and it's been up for a long time, made plenty of sales. Yeah, an infographic is non-compliant, so you can't have that. But an image of the product in use, you could probably do something. You could probably do something that would just get away with it. And I'm going to show you some examples here today also, which is going to be cool. All right, so what's your goal? So when you're thinking about the hero image, and I probably spend about 3 or 4 hours on each product that I'm going to launch just on the hero image. So I get all my images done professionally. I use a photographer, and in some cases I get one person to do the whole thing for me. But even when they do everything for me, I still go back through the hero image and I still make sure that I actually get that done myself. And that's a very, very important process for me. And the reason being is because I've seen the big difference when it comes to conversion. All right, so what's your goal when you're looking at your hero image? Well, have the best image out of your competition, right? That's pretty obvious there. And the second one is to get attention. So again, if I type in a certain keyword into Amazon, I want to see your product, right? I want to see that straight away. So how can you grab attention? Another thing is to show value. So instantly people feel like, okay, so your price is similar to the competition, but they look at your hero image and they say, wow, that looks like it's packed with value, right? And that's something I'm going to speak about. Relate to the customer search query. And that's very, very important. So what I mean by that is if your customer types in, let's say, blue blanket, the first thing they want to see is blue blanket, right? But if you can show them the keyword within the actual hero image somewhere, whether it be on the packaging, then that relates to them more. You're speaking to the customer more, and that will also improve your click-through rate. And I know that's something that Neil talks about too, which is awesome. Easy to understand what it is. A lot of the times I see hero images that are so messy, I don't even know what the product is. I can't even tell exactly what the product is. You might have an idea, but you cannot actually grasp it really, really quickly. So it needs to be very clean. It needs to be very, very slick. Also relate the colors to your target market. Now, this is a big one. I actually never really thought about this the first few years I was in Amazon. Then I started improving the hero images and I realized there is certain colors that your target market like more than others. And that's just the reality of it. It really is. And it's something that you'd probably tick off a lot of different things. But that's one thing that a lot of people don't actually tick off. And I'm talking really kind of high level stuff when it comes to branding, I guess, and or really it should be the basic stuff when it comes to branding, but it's something that you need to think about early on. Okay, so the very first thing that I do is I do a product breakdown. So when I'm thinking about my hero image, I write down, okay, what does my product come with? What do I have with my product? Is there some beautiful packaging that I can show in my hero image? Or do I just have plain white packaging? Is there a certain bundle? Am I including a bonus product, or am I including an ebook as a bonus? Or I've got a really great instruction manual that I'm going to put a picture of how to put up your gym equipment. You know, maybe you can put that on the hero image because that'll be extra perceived value, right? Someone will see it and say, wow, that comes with a really cool instruction manual. I want to buy that product, or I want to click on that product. Or is it the product label? And you can do so much with product labels. It's really amazing. Even if you don't have the exact label you put on your hero image on your actual packaging, you can still do some small edits with your label, which I'll talk about now and show some examples. All right, so the very first thing I do, like I said, is I write down what my product is, I break it down, what does it come with? Does it come with packaging? Does it come with a really cool instruction manual? So I make a note of all that. And then I start thinking of enhancers. So these are essentially things that are going to improve the look of your hero image and are really going to make it stand out. All right, so I start to make a list of all enhancers, and I'll get this information by searching on Amazon, typing in a keyword for any product. It doesn't need to be looking just at your competition. You can find enhancers on what people have done. I'm going to show you some examples now from any category, any marketplace. You can go to Pinterest. There's some great images examples there you can get. You can go to Instagram. You can go to anywhere you want. Pinterest is one thing that we're doing very heavily now at the moment too, which is working out really well. All right, so let's have a look at this. So this is an example of a energy formula, and you can see the guys here on the left, which they're a top seller within Amazon. And what they've done, one of the enhancers that they've done, which isn't compliant. I mean, it's not compliant when it comes to Amazon, and but they've done it, and they've been doing it like this for a long time. And what I always say to people is, you know, you want to have a number of different hero images. You want to have some hero images that push the limits. You want to have some hero images that are so compliant, you know, so that way you can replace it if Amazon says anything. And you want to have kind of hero images that are in the middle, right? So when it comes to compliance and Amazon essentially wants you to show only what you're selling, only what the customer is going to get. That's all they want to see on a plain white background on a hero image, right? So that's compliant to Amazon. Now, if you do push the limits, the worst thing that could possibly happen is Amazon will tell you to replace the image, and then you just replace it with your compliant one, and you go off again, right? That's the worst that could possibly happen. So for me, it's worth taking the risk, because sometimes I could have a non-compliant image that converts really, really well for 8 or 9 months before Amazon tell me to take it off, right? So, and then I just kind of sort it out there. But again, I just want to give you guys the heads up. If you do some things that are not compliant, you do have the risk of Amazon contacting you and saying to you, look, remove the image or replace it with something that's compliant, and then you do that and you're off going again. Okay, so the one on the right is a really kind of basic, ordinary, even the label. I mean, look at the label. It's really kind of, it's not that nice, right? It's pretty confusing. Power on, weird label, not too bright. Then the guys on the left, they really know what they're doing. So they put energy formula, which is the actual keyword. They've got it right there on the front of their label, and it just pops. And they've really pushed the limits there by adding these little bits of fruit, which they're trying to symbolize the flavor, right? So the flavor is, you can see that they're strawberry, blueberries, and so on. So essentially what they're actually doing is having the, you know, pomegranate and all that kind of stuff right at the front. So that I would consider as an enhancer. So I would make a note of that and say, okay, well, how can I apply that to my product? You know, can I apply anything like this to my particular product? That would be one enhancer example. Another one is this, and this is also a big one. If you're selling supplements, or if you're selling a product that has a label, you could either have, you could either show just the front of the label, like they've done there on the left, or you can actually show 3 sides. And there's some really great examples when you look at CBD oil for dogs and CBD oil for cats and things like that. But the one on the right, the hero image, it just screams value. You see a lot more of the actual label. And this label here on the right-hand side, I've never seen one of these actually ever be removed by Amazon. They still see this as compliant because you're actually showing what they get on the label. So Amazon don't actually take these off. But if you look at the one on the right, I'm sure the branding it might not interest you, but for that target market, it works really, really well. But the one on the right, compared to the one on the left, is way, way better, right? You can see there's a lot more value there than the one on the left. And all they've essentially done is done beautiful 3D renders, and they've essentially just showed 3 sides of the actual the actual product and the actual label there. It's another one which is showing your product in use. So the one on the right is a Amazon listing that didn't show the product in use. And the one on the left did, right? So they actually used that particular opportunity to show the actual product in use. And again, this is kind of borderline compliant, but something like this, Amazon don't really take it down at all. They hardly ever take anything down. And the guys on the left really took the opportunity to show the product in use and really create as much value as they can. You can also do, I've also done products like this, where within the mobile phone image, you can actually add things in there also. So this image here, you can see it's showing the baby, but you can do different images where it's showing different things, and you can put in keywords within there and things like that. Again, that's pushing the limits a little bit, but I like to push the limits when it comes to Amazon Hero images. All right, so this is another one. So this is, again, showing the product in use. The left image is a product on Amazon, and you can see if you just saw that left image, I wouldn't know what it is, right? I would have no idea what this product is if the product wasn't showing me the intended use of the product, right? So, and that's the big thing. People need to know exactly what your product is. They need to have an idea of what it is and how it works and what it does. And the picture on the right, that's actually a really top seller in Amazon. They've been there for a while, and you can clearly see exactly what the product is, right? So the one on the right, you can see what it is. The one on the left, you cannot see what it is. And that's what I meant in the beginning of clearly displaying your product. Even the webcam that we saw before, as soon as we saw it in use, we could automatically picture it in use. And if we can picture it in use, then we can picture that we're going to use it and we're closer to actually buying it. So that's also a very important thing to do, is the intended to use, or the way that you actually use it. Another thing is the packaging plus bonuses. So the one on the left, that's an Amazon image. You can see what you get in it, which is great. It's a really nice image. But the one on the right, they've included a beautiful box. You even got this 36-page puzzle game book, and they've laid it out in a way where if they were both $20, I would probably buy the one on the right. All right, so I'd probably look at it and say, well, if as long as I didn't specifically want the one on the left, and I was just looking for a toy truck or a puzzle toy, I would most likely buy the one on the right, because it shows me there's way more value. It looks like they've taken a lot more care when it comes to packaging, when it comes to the book. And again, writing down what your product comes with and being able to show that is a very, very important thing when it comes to Amazon. All right, so this is another one. This is actually one of my favorite products, and I'll tell you why in a second. But taking advantage of using a product label to show features, benefits, and the keyword, right? It's a boring product, but it's a great label, right? So what happened with Ali's Best? I'll give you a bit of a story. So I started Amazon 7 years ago or so. I was in Vietnam at the time, and a friend of mine said to me, you should get into nut milk bags. And I was like, nah, nut milk bags, look at them, they're just kind of small. You know, I'm not gonna make any money from that. Anyway, Ali's Best comes along, and she decided to actually, or this brand decided to kind of get into nut milk bags. They're doing about 50,000 a month at the moment in the US. They've taken over that space, and they went around when my friend told me about them, and I didn't take up that opportunity. But essentially what she did when she came along is she understood the power of labels. And all the nut milk bags that were actually selling on Amazon at that time, they look like the one on the right, right? So what she did was she thought, okay, well, I'll put my label on there, and she wrote bigger, better nut milk bag. We do nothing better, right? How cool is that tagline? And essentially, that was a massive, massive catalyst to really increasing her sales. And that's a product that you can get for 30, 40 cents. She sells, I think she sells one for like $13 or $14. Then she sells a 6-pack for $25, and she sells a 12-pack for $50. It's huge profit margins. But she did extremely well, and she did that by differentiating herself with the actual label. Now, if I'm looking for a nut milk bag and I got onto Amazon and I saw that one in my face or the one on the right, of course I'm going to buy the one on the left. So what she did was she took advantage of that and decided to create a label and put it on there. And now it's just some extra advertising space, right? It's like you have a sales guy sitting on the front page of Amazon telling, yeah, it's bigger, better, nut milk bag, right? So it's a really, really great opportunity to actually advertise your product by adding those labels. All right, another thing, again, label and perceived added value. So two things that these guys done were really cool, which is add the actual, you know, you can see they've added all the different bags, so you can see the quantity that you actually get. So instantly perceived value is a lot higher. But the one on the left, that's how the Amazon image is on the left. The one on the right realizes the real estate of advertising and having a really great label on the front. Because if you go to Amazon, you type in grow bag, which one are you going to buy? You're going to buy the one on the right because it says grow bag. It speaks to you straight away, and it looks more professional. And especially if it's the same price, the one on the right could even increase its price by $2 or $3, and I'll still buy that because it looks a lot more professional to me. So using labels is very, very important when it comes to the front of your product. Now, if you don't have a label on your product, you can still do something, right? So I've done that before. Again, it's up to you if you want to do it. I like taking a little bit of risk, and I look at risk and reward. But if you have a particular product like this, and if you don't have a label on it, but you're actually selling it, and if you got a graphic designer to put you a label like the one on the right, probably not that detailed though, right? But just something simple Amazon wouldn't be able to tell if it is your label or not, and you can actually improve your conversion that way. And when people receive it, they're not going to say, look, there wasn't a label in the front. I've done it before, but again, do it at your own risk. I'm just putting it out there, some of the things that I do to take chance, but a lot of the times I do actually have labels on the product, of course. All right. So once you list all the enhancers, so you've done some research and you're like, okay, well, what can I do? I can add some small enhancers like fruits if you're selling some type of fruit or a different product. I can have a label at the front. I can show 3 sides. I can show the product features by having things like bigger and better. I can show the product in use. And you really kind of just want to start brainstorming. And again, give yourself a good 3-4 hours to do this. Don't try rushing this actual process, and try to work out what you can do in your space by getting ideas from a lot of different images, so that way you can actually really improve your image. Also mobile optimization when it comes to your actual image and making sure it's mobile optimized and everything else. So there's a lot that you can do. So this is where, like I said, you just want to start mapping it out. Now you can use just a pen and paper, and then you can give that to your designer, and you can say to them, this is the packaging, this is where I want the package, this is the ebook, this is the picture of the front graphic of the ebook, and give it to your designer and give them something pen and paper. I do that all the time, a bit old school like that, but I actually love it. And then I give it to the designer, take a photo of it, I say, look, that's where I want the package, that's where I want this looking, and I give them all the files, and they'll put it together for me. Or you can put something together yourself in Canva if you know how to do that. Canva is a great tool to actually do that and just kind of map it out. I always recommend getting someone pro to do this, absolutely pro. So if your experience is limited and the image isn't coming out 100%, then just map it out in Canva or pen and paper and just give it to a designer. It's worth paying 50, 60 bucks, it's worth paying 100 or 200 bucks for me. So that's a very important process. So, okay, so you want to create a minimum of three hero images using the enhancer ideas, and also want to create one very compliant image. So ideally, you want to create at least 3 or 4. You can even create 2 if you want. That's okay to get started. But you want to create a number of those images. So the way I would do it is I'll probably have one hero image that shows the product in use, one hero image that shows all the packaging, one hero image that has the huge label with the keyword on there, and then one very compliant image or something like that. So, and then I have different hero images to choose from and to actually test, which is a very important step. So this is a screenshot of the front page and compare your comp. Okay, so what I was saying here was once you've actually done this, you want to go to your niche, put in your keyword, and take a screenshot of every row, or take a screenshot of the whole page, and then Photoshop your product on that front page. So if that product was on the right-hand side, you just created that image G Fuel, put it next to your competitors, and just have a look at it and just see, does it stand out? Does it tick all the boxes? Is it clear in regards to what it is? Does it stand out? Does it bring attention? Does it show perceived value? And then just kind of mark it off and just see if yours stands out compared to everyone else, right? It's very important. Now, if your image turned out to be the one on the far left, then you probably know, okay, well, it doesn't really stand out. The image quality doesn't look too good. Something's going on. I need to improve it. So, and that's something that I do still to now. It's a very important thing. But again, the smallest things that you can actually do make a big difference when it comes to Amazon. And guys, people haven't seen your product. They can only rely on images. They haven't touched it. We're online. So the only thing they can see is your video title, the price, the reviews, and your image. And your image takes up 50% or 60% of what they can actually initially see. That's the first thing I look at, is the image. If the image doesn't grab attention, I'm not even going to click on it. All right, so the image for me is the most important, and it is for 63% of consumers. All right, so another thing that you can do is once you have your images, you can actually test it. So you can get 4 of your top competition images and compare yours with PickFu. So you can go to PickFu. They're a little bit pricey, I must say. I think they're about 99 bucks or something like that. But you can actually create a poll within PickFu. But again, it's definitely worth it. And you can actually ask people that are in your demographic. So if you know, okay, my target market is people from 25 to 35 that are in the US that shop on Amazon, you can actually do that now within PickFu. So you can specifically target people who shop on Amazon who are within your target market and target audience. So that's a very important step. Then what will happen is it'll come back and it'll say, so let's say these are the 4 hero images that you had. Which image do you prefer? you'll have 50 people. So you go on the top left-hand side, it says 50 respondents. 50 people will come back and tell you which ones they like and why they liked it or why they didn't like it, right? So this is it's a very cool process because it gives you a bit more of an idea in regards to what the market says. I know, Neil, you do something where you actually create a Facebook ads campaign and you point some traffic to the actual hero image and then it just goes to Amazon.com. Is that right? Something like that?
That's right. So we do a similar thing, but we do Facebook ads and we run in this situation, it'll be four Facebook ads all going to the same place with a different image, hero image that we test. And of course, whichever hero image gets the most clicks, that's the winner.
Awesome. So guys, that is it. I tried to kind of rush through it. I know it's oh gee, I've gone over time, mate, big time. But all good, guys. So I didn't realize time. But yeah, so that is it for the hero image. If you have any questions or anything like that, let me know. Maybe put them on a Facebook group. I'd be more than happy to get to them today while you guys are asleep. And yeah, we'll go from there, mate.
Sam, that was brilliant. You're getting lots of love in the chat as well for your presentation. So that's fantastic, mate. A big thanks for being on the call. And I've posted a link for anybody that wants to find out a little bit more about Sam and Sam's processes. I posted a link to a private YouTube video, which you're welcome to go check out. If you want to find out a little bit more about Sam and what Sam does, then that will be a really great place to start.
Hey, Neil here. Just before you go away, that was a question that I got asked on my regular Monday night Q&A session, which I have with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. So if you're interested in joining us as an Aussie Online Entrepreneurs, then you can click on the link below to find out a lot more about that. And also, as a special thank you for watching this video, I've got a great book that I want to give you for free. It's a current bestseller on Amazon, and it teaches you everything that you would need to know about starting a business here in Australia on Amazon. So you can see that just up there. So if you'd like to get a copy of that for free, then again, just click on the link below and you'll get a copy of that. You'll get taken to a page where you can get a copy of that for absolutely free. Hope you enjoyed that little snippet from one of my Aussie Online Entrepreneur Q&A sessions, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel and also like this video. And if you've got a question that you would like answering, then post it in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it, whether on one of these videos for you or directly in the comments directly below. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on the next of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs Amazon FBA Australia videos. See you soon.